Hello viewers, my name is Mr. Moses Kutuza. I am an educator at East London Science College in East London, PCM district in the Eastern Cape Department of Education. Welcome to this broadcast studio. Today's lesson is about measurement in mathematical literacy. We'll be covering mainly the subsection of perimeter, area, and volume to give you clear guidance on how you tackle those areas. As I've already alluded, most measurement is one of the important topics for mathematical literacy paper 2 grade 12. It actually covers 55% of the marks for paper 2. Those are marks. The paper has got 5 questions. Question 1 gives you an integration of measurement and maps. Question 2 is also giving you an integration of measurement and maps. Then question 3, which is more marks, is only measurement. Question 3 is only measurement. Then question 4 and 5 are also integration. So what exactly do we need? Let me start off looking at the skills you need for measurement. Basically, there are 2 major skills. There are many skills you can use, but there are 2 major skills you will need there. The first skill we need, which you have been learning from grade 10, 11, is conversions. Remember, measurement is a system to measure things like height, weight, capacity, or even the amount of certain objects. We can measure how long things are or how tall things are. For example, the height of Mr. Moses is 1.5 meters, or the height of a giraffe is 2 meters. So basically now you need to be able to convert between these units. There's millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. Those are metric units, the units we use here. Grams, kgs, millimeters, and liters. All these are the units we use here. So we need to be able to convert between them. This section I'm showing you, I've taken it from the exam guidelines. You can find it from your exam guidelines for grade 12. You have everything. It specifically shows you what you must concentrate on. This is conversion of temperature. This is conversion of solids to liters, like 1 cubic meter to 1,000 milliliters. So how do we use conversions? I'll explain more when we are looking at the questions. We're also looking at how to measure the length, weight, volume, and temperature. We'll also look at how to calculate perimeter, area, and volume. So like I've said, we will need to go to the exam guidelines, then we can be able to see these things. Let's move to the next slide. There are terms which are very important for this topic of measurement. Let's look at the terms briefly. For example, let's look at perimeter. What is perimeter? It is the total distance around an object. The total distance around an object. I hope you're seeing clearly there. The total distance around an object. Mostly, we look at the 2D shapes, or around, whether it's 3D, but we move around. We don't go inside the shape. Then circumference. It's also perimeter. Circumference is perimeter, but this is now for circular objects or shapes. That's perimeter of a circle or perimeter of a circular object. We call it circumference. The other term we're looking at is area. What is area? This is the quantity that expresses the extent of two-dimensional shapes or objects. We can also say area is the space covered. We use the word covered to the space covered by an object. Then we have surface area. Surface area is the same as area, but now we're looking at a bigger object, like a 3D object, which has 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, like a rectangular prism, like a cylinder. So the total space covered by a 3D shape, we call it surface area. Now, the next term is volume. Volume is the amount of space that substance or object occupies. So look at the difference of the terms we are using here. Let me highlight there. For surface area, we say covered. And for volume, we are saying occupying. These two terms are very important. You need to know that for area, we use the word covered. And for volume, we use the word occupy. Right, capacity. Capacity is the same as volume. You find that capacity is inside. How much can a container or an object contain is capacity. So how do we calculate capacity? Why am I saying it's similar to volume? Because volume is calculated in the same way as capacity. The same formula we use for volume in any object is the same formula we use for capacity. So these terms are the same, but only that the other one is inside. Capacity is inside, volume is outside. So capacity is mostly for those things which are contained, which cannot stand on their own, like liquids, powders. We have to put them in a container. So when we calculate their volume, it's called capacity. Then the other important term we use is diameter. If you look at a circle, let me try to put a circle. If we look at a circle like this, let me try to draw a circle. The line which runs across the center, that line is a diameter. I'm trying to draw a small circle here. So you can see this line which runs from one end to another end through the center is what we call a circle. So that is a circle. Then if I remove the other side of the circle, of the diameter, we are left with one side, which is this one. From the center, the line which runs from the center to the boundary of the circle is the radius. So quickly, what is a radius? What is a diameter? Diameter is a straight line through the center to the boundary of the circle. Then radius, straight distance from the center to the edge of the boundary. So the diameter runs across, but it has to pass through the center. Whereas the radius starts from the center to the end or to the edge or to the boundary. So these terms, they are not all the terms we use, but these are the most important, which you as a grade 12 learner, you need to master before you go to the exam. Now, so far, so good for the terms. So we can have these questions where we say, define the following perimeter and circumference, area and surface area, volume and capacity, radius and diameter. So this is the way you define them, as I have been showing in the previous slide. This is how you define these terms. I hope you're seeing it clearly. Thank you. Let's now move to the calculations, the formulas we use. This is measurement, and you will be given formulas. They will give you the formulas to use. Formulas will be given on each question you are using. And remember, we have 4 basic shapes. We have 4 basic shapes. That is the square, the rectangle, the triangle, and the circle. Any other shape which does not resemble these 4 shapes, we call it an irregular shape. Right, so let's look at the formulas we use to calculate these quantities. The major quantities we calculate is the perimeter, area, and volume. But let's start with the most common, which is perimeter and area. Remember, we have already defined this. Perimeter of a square. A square is that shape with all sides equal. So perimeter of that, since it's distance around the object, so we multiply. Perimeter is equal to 4 sides, 4 times the sides. Because on a shape which is a square, you will see that the square, they put one side only. You just take that side and you multiply by 4. That gives you the perimeter of that square. We go to the area of a rectangle. This is the rectangle. The area of the rectangle. On a rectangle, we have a length and a breadth. We add those 2 sides. I normally prefer that. Let's just consider also that the rectangle has got 2 sides. Never mind the length, never mind the breadth. Just know that each has 2 sides. The other side is longer and the other side is shorter. The longer one is the length and the shorter one is the breadth. So, what do you do now? Why am I emphasizing that? Just to consider that it has 2 sides. Because sometimes you can be given a rectangle which is standing vertically, where the other side will be given as a height and the other one as the length. And they will say now, use the length and breadth. Then you wonder, where is the breadth? Because they have given me the height and the length. You need to understand that the shorter side on a rectangle is considered as a breadth. So if I'm looking at a wall, I have a height and possibly a length. So my height there, if I put that wall down, my height becomes my breadth. So the emphasis I am putting is, when we're calculating the perimeter of a rectangle, add the longer side plus the shorter side. After that, you multiply by 2. Add the longer side plus the shorter side and multiply by 2. This is what is shown here. So the length, the L is representing the longer side and the B is representing the shorter side. So let's don't mind about the length and breadth. Just look at a rectangle, take the longer side measurement plus the shorter side measurement, making sure that the units are the same. That's why I spoke about conversion in the beginning. Why is the conversion important? Because when we substitute into the formula now, we need to make sure that the units are the same. Right, let's go to the triangle. Triangle has got 3 sides. So it's basically adding the 3 sides. Side 1 plus side 2. Side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. That gives you the perimeter of a triangle. A circle, we can use 2 formulas. We can use 2 times pi times r. That is the perimeter or the circumference. Remember, when I defined circumference, I said it's the perimeter of a circle or the distance around a circular object. When we multiply 2 by radius, it gives us diameter. 2 times radius gives us diameter. So we can also say circumference is equal to pi times diameter. We can also say it is equal to pi times diameter. We can say circumference is equal to pi d, because we remember from that formula we have a 2 pi r. The other formula is 2 pi r. So when we multiply these 2 and this radius, it gives us the diameter. So basically these 2 formulas work and gives you the same answer. Let's go back to the other area now. right? We come back to the same shapes again. Area of a square, remember we said area is the space covered by an object. So how do we calculate area of the square? We take the two sides. Remember, it's only one side given, but the four sides are equal. So we take side times side. Remember, the square and the rectangle, they look alike. It's only that the square, all sides are equal, and the rectangle, the other side is longer. Two sides are longer and two sides are shorter. So area of a square, multiply the sides given, side times side. This is where we are. Let me highlight that this is where we are, side times side. And area of a rectangle is length times width. Triangle is half times base times height. Half times B times height. That's how we calculate the area of a triangle. And the height should be the perpendicular. Let me put a triangle here. The height should be perpendicular. It means if I have a triangle which has no perpendicular height, I have to calculate this perpendicular height, which I can use Pythagoras to do that. I will explain in some of the questions when we are calculating. But the height we use is the perpendicular height. We don't use the slanting sides to calculate area. The slanting sides are only used when you are calculating perimeter. When we're calculating area, don't look at the sliding signs. You look for the perpendicular height. Right, thank you. Let's move on to the calculation. I have put some shapes here so that you can see properly what I was talking about. This is the square, side times side gives you the area. This is the rectangle, length times width or breadth gives you the area. This is the triangle, and this is the perpendicular height I'm talking about. This is the perpendicular height, the one which is straight, not this one. The A and C are not perpendicular heights. The A and C, they are not our perpendicular. We don't use this one and this one for calculating area. We only use them to calculate perimeter. So if we're calculating the perimeter here, we would say A plus B plus C, which is side 1 plus side B plus side 2 plus side 3. But when we're calculating the area for the triangle, we no longer use A and C there because they are sloping sides. We don't use them for area. We use the perpendicular height there, multiplied by half of the base. Thank you. This is the formulas we use. Let's now look at how we calculate, how we use this. Just to summarize what I've been talking about, I've spoken about conversions. I can also add there that when we convert, why do we convert? Because when we calculate, we need the units to be the same so that we can substitute properly into the formula. I also spoke about the formulas we use to calculate the perimeter area of square, rectangle, and circle. And I also spoke about the major terms which we use in measurement and defined them: perimeter, area, volume, capacity, radius, diameter. All those terms you need to know how to define them. So in our next lesson, we'll now be looking at how we calculate these quantities. Thank you very much. Okay, it starts from here. Chess. Question 1, scenario. Chess is a very popular game played on a square board of 64 squares. David Stolle would like to build a chessboard in his garden. He will make the black and white chessboard with ceramic floor tiles. He will then add a wooden deck board all around the chessboard. A picture and an aerial view of the finished garden is shown on the next slide. So this is the picture of the chessboard, and look at this. You see, this is the boundary of our chessboard. So this is the chessboard. So here is the board which will be put around the the chessboard, right? So this is the aerial view. You can see our measurements are in inches for the outside measurements, and the inside measurements are in meters. Remember, inches are imperial units. Let's move on to the question now. The first question now says, use the picture and plan of the chessboard to help David with the construction of his garden chessboard. Explain the meaning of aerial view. What is aerial view? This question, I just put it, although it is coming from maps, but since we're speaking about the aerial view of this, I thought it's important we define it. Aerial view is the top view, what you see from above. So two words, top view is aerial view, or view from above, what you see from above. This is what we see when we are looking at the chessboard. This is what we see. The viewing from above is what we call aerial view. Calculate in square meters the area of the chessboard. The area of the chessboard without the wooden deck. You may use the formula. Area of a rectangle is length times breadth. Let's come to this. This is the chessboard. Only one side is given. It means it's a square. So how are we going to calculate that? Let me go and show you there. We said area of a square. Area of a square is equal to side times side. So if we look at the chessboard, the side is 2,8. So what do we do there? It's 2,8. So we say 2,8 times 2,8. What do we get? 2,8. Let me write it down. 2,8 times 2,8. Let me use my calculator here. 2,8 times 2,8. Sorry, 2,8 times 2,8. What do we get there? We're getting, this is equal to 7,84 square meters. Units are important. We square, when we're looking at area, we square the units. So where did we get 2,8? This is the side given there. So it's similar to this. So side times side. 2,8 times 2,8 gives us the area of the chessboard. Thank you, great host. We have come to the end of our lesson. You can leave your questions on the comments. Don't forget to leave the name of your school. So we give shout outs. Please share, recommend, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you on our next lesson.